This episode commences in a quick flashback of Yamamoto's memories of the first encounter with the Quincy's. We see the original 13-Court Guard Squad shrouded in fire preparing to fight their opposition. When the war began, you see arms being severed, bodies being cut, and a lot of people dying. Yamamoto released his Bankai and slowly started walking towards Yhwach. Yhwach smiled at Yamamoto because he thought he was ready for the attack, but he was quickly stabbed in the back as Yamamoto struck him with his sword in the front. The flashback continued as a young boy snuck into Yamamoto's room and saw the image of Yamamoto's Bankai. Yamamoto caught the boy sneaking around his room and begins yelling at him, but once he calmed down, he told the young boy about the history of the famous image, saying, "What you see is a monster that attacked the Soul Society, but if that monster awakens again, things will get much worse." The scene cuts to the future as Yamamoto's severed body started to fall to the ground. Yhwach placed his foot on the top of Yamamoto's head and explains a lot of things that we all wanted to know for a very long time. He explains why Yamamoto never restored his arm, and it was because he didn't want to exploit the humans. And the reason why he didn't want to use his Bankai against Aizen, because everyone in the vicinity will die, including Ichigo. That's exactly what happened to the original Court Guard Squad. Yamamoto released his Bankai to defeat Yhwach, and everyone around him and his subordinates died. Yhwach looked at Yamamoto on the ground, pointed his finger towards him, and obliterated Yamamoto once and for all. All the Captain Stern Raiders summoned the Advanced Sodat, and annihilated more soldiers of the Soul Society. Meanwhile, Ichigo breaks out of Kyuuge's prison ball and finally arrives in Soul Society. The first person he visited was none other than Byakuya. Byakuya asked Ichigo if Renji and Rukia is still alive. Ichigo responded in a subtle tone, yes. Byakuya asked Ichigo for a favor. Can you protect the Soul Society? Ichigo paused for a second and said yes, but not with his words, but with his actions. He immediately flew straight towards Yhwach, stopping him from leaving. And before that battle can begin, we see Byakuya's sword fail out of his hand, shattering into 1,000 pieces. This is definitely a war to remember. Who would have thought that Yamamoto and Byakuya would die so soon in the 1,000-year blood war? And it makes you think about what kind of power will Ichigo develop to defeat Yhwach in the final fight. In order to accomplish this massive task, Ichigo has to surpass Yamamoto's Bankai, Zanko no Tachi. This is getting very interesting. So Ichigo starts interrogating Yhwach, asking him, is he the one that destroyed Soul Society? Yhwach responded saying, indeed he is. Ichigo started to emit his colorful Ryatsu and attacked Yhwach at full strength. But the fight didn't last too long as Yhwach grabs Ichigo's left arm and slammed him into the ground. Yhwach lifted up his weapon and pierced his sword through Ichigo's neck. Bro, when I first saw this, I was like, what the heck, Ichigo died already? But when I see the next part, Yhwach was shocked that his sword did not go all the way through Ichigo's neck because of something that is called Blut Vein. Yhwach sliced up Ichigo's arm just to make sure he wasn't tripping, and Blut Vein appeared on his arm. Yhwach stated that using Kyuuge to contain Ichigo was a mistake, because Kyuuge can contain Soul Reapers, but he can't contain Quincy's. So Ichigo is a Quincy? Oh snap, that's crazy. He continues and tells Ichigo that he knows nothing about himself or his mother, and wants to re-educate him after he captures him. Once Yhwach tried to leave, Ichigo tried to attack Yhwach, but the Stern Raider stepped in and broke his sword on impact. Yhwach told Ichigo to heal his wounds and wait. My son in the dark.